Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. If you're joining me for the first time, I'm Melissa Reed and I'm a mixed media artist from Pennsylvania. So today you can see I have some paints out in front of me and hiding underneath there is an 8 by 10 back stapled canvas I got at Michael's. I'm going to have a complete list plus links to all of my items here. Some of the paints that I'm using are Artist's Loft Teal. I've got Windsor and Newton Windsor Blue. I've got Liquitex Basics Bright Aqua Green and Liquitex Basics Turquoise Blue. For the reds that I'm using, I have Liquitex Basics Fluorescent Red and Cadmium Red Medium Hue, as well as Grumbacher Red, which is one of my favorites. I don't end up using that yellow. I do, however, end up adding some Liquitex Basics Burnt Umber in at the end, as well as using some Rowney turquoise ink. In addition to that, I am going to be using a Gelli Roll pen. It's Gelli Roll Midnight 06. So this canvas is primed. I chose to just use a pre-primed canvas for this one because that's what I had on hand. And my goal here is going to just be to start laying down some blue colors. I want a dark background and then I'm going to put the reds in over top. And this is a very non-scientific process that I'm using here. I am using an old gift card just to lay down colors. I'm adding them some at the same time, and then I go back and add more, basically just until I'm happy with the way it looks. Now the majority of this blue is going to be covered up, but you're going to see little bits and pieces of it peeking out from below the lighter reds and oranges that I end up using in there. I don't think I mentioned I'm going to be using a fluorescent orange Liquitex in addition, but again, there'll be a complete list of everything used in the description section of the video for you if you're interested in taking a look at any of those. Now I wanted a mix of dark and light blues so that when some of those peek through, I get an automatic variation in color and it just gives a little bit more interest. I'm adding some more of that Windsor blue on top now because I thought it needed just a little more darkness added in. I went a little too light there for what I kind of had in mind. Now, again, this is mostly an intuitive piece, which for those of you that haven't watched my videos or don't know what that means, I don't really start a project with a clear vision in mind. Sometimes it will just be a color scheme, like in this case, I knew I wanted to do the reds over top of the blues. Sometimes it'll be a mild concept, maybe an image or something like that. But then I just react to what happens on the canvas. And that's actually what I'm doing here. I'm mixing some of that Windsor blue in with some of the Liquitex Basics Burnt Umber, and that's going to make a nice deep blue color. So I had the Windsor blue, and that's kind of a brighter blue as you can see there, but I wanted something with a little bit of depth to it. And you'll see there as I start adding that onto the canvas how that really brings a nice depth, but still stays in that blue family. And I just keep adding paint until I'm happy with the way that bottom layer looks. This process is one of my favorite ways to make backgrounds, and I use it in a lot of my different work. It's a good way to build layers of background, which brings a lot of texture and visual depth to your piece. And it's really cool because you're never going to get the same thing twice. Even if you use this technique on 10 paintings in a row, it's not going to be exactly the same. So I really like the interest that that brings to the piece. Incidentally, that tool that I'm using there is called a color shaper. It is like a silicone wedge, kind of, it looks like a paintbrush, but it's a solid piece of silicone on the bottom, and there are links to that in the description as well. I think I have that in my Amazon affiliate link list too. And once I got all of that blue paint dried on there, which didn't take all that long, maybe I let that sit for an hour or so, and I came back and I started applying the red. I went in first with some of the fluorescent red, and then I went back and forth between that, the cadmium red hue, and the Grumbacher red, just to get a nice variation in color. I did end up adding some of the Liquitex Basics fluorescent orange in there as well, which you'll see in a few minutes. That basically just gave me some highlights. Again, I'm just applying this paint with an old credit card. If you don't have, or if that's actually an old gift card, you could use a piece of cardboard, whatever you have laying around. You could certainly use a brush for this process too. I just like to go in this way because it makes it even more abstract and way less planned out. And I like the effects that I can get just by dragging that card in different pressures across the surface. Some of it will kind of like skim and skid, and it mixes the color in different ways. There's the orange going down now, and you can see how that just brings little pops of light. I had considered using some yellow in there as well, but it didn't end up needing it for what my opinion was on it, so I did not end up using that. I just stopped with the reds and the orange. Once I got all of those reds and oranges good and dried, I'm grabbing my Dollar Rowney acrylic ink in turquoise, and I'm using a bamboo skewer, using the pointy side of a bamboo skewer. And I'm doing this to make really organic, imperfect lines. And this is all just coming off the top of my head. I don't have a plan for this design either. I know that I vaguely want a curving shape that's curving over to the right hand side, and I'm beginning to think that I might want to leave an open space on the right hand side. I'm not sure if I'm going to put something in it or just continue with more design. That's a decision that I end up making later on in the process. But for now, I'm just getting all of these beautiful blue lines put down. I love this particular acrylic ink because it has such a nice opacity to it. Some of the other ones that I've used don't for some reason, and you would think that they would because they do have the acrylic binders in them, but this one is nice and bright and strong, and it really matched some of the blue paint that I used in the background, which will tie everything together. Using the bamboo skewer in this way gives you these beautiful, organic, imperfect lines with a lot of character and personality that you wouldn't necessarily be able to get any other way. Okay, now I'm going in with my Gelli Roll Pen, and that is a color that also doesn't exactly match, but really closely mimics the paint and the ink that I used. So these are all in the same color family. And these lines, I'm able to get much more fine lines. And one thing I did notice using this pen on a canvas, I did have to continuously tap it on some paper to get the ink flowing again. I mean, they're not necessarily meant to be used on such a rough surface there, so it took a little fiddling. So if you see my hand going off the screen there, making motions, that's what I'm doing, just tapping on a piece of scratch paper. And these little shapes that I'm making are vaguely leaf-like, again, kind of organic, that kind of goes along with those organic branchy lines that I've made there. This is not supposed to necessarily be a type of plant or any sort of tree or anything like that, but it is supposed to vaguely bring that to your mind. So I'm going through and filling in not each and every one of those lines that I made, but I'm putting those shapes on the majority of them. I did decide to leave that largest, thickest central piece mostly free from those, and I'm glad I did because that actually gave me some space to work in that large central space there, that big like oval opening off to the right hand side. I did ultimately decide to put something in that, although I went back and forth for quite a while deciding what, if anything, should go in there. I'm happy with the decision that I made, and I mean, you I'm sure saw it on the thumbnail. I know that it's going to be a bird. And of course, if you've seen any of my other videos, you know that birds are one of my favorite subjects to use in my pieces. So this should be no great surprise to you if you are familiar with my other work. One thing to note about these Gelli pens that I'm sure if you've used them, you are aware of this, but maybe some of you are not. These are not permanent. So if I went over this with water, if I sprayed any water or wiped anything down or went over it with a wet media, it would, that would lift. So just something to keep in mind. I try to do that, either as a final layer, or if I'm going to keep working on it, you can certainly put some kind of a workable fixative on top of there to keep that from disappearing on you. So now that actually helped me out here. As you can see, I'm wiping some of that off to make room for a little more of the bird's tail, which I didn't even end up having to do because I ultimately decided to fill the bird shape in. But at that point, I wasn't 100% sure what I was going to do, so I was able to remove that, and it worked just like an eraser there, just with a little bit of water on a paper towel. So I did end up going over the bird that I sketched in there with some of that same acrylic ink, that turquoise acrylic ink that I used for the main piece. And that was basically, I didn't really want a thin line on the bird, but I also wanted to be able to use that removable Gelli pen in case I made a mistake when I was drawing, because I didn't actually trace anything there. I just kind of free-handed that, and sometimes that works perfectly and the rest of the time it doesn't. So I wanted to have the option to be able to make a mistake and fix it if I needed to. But once the shape was down to the point where I was happy with it, I just went in with that ink to make it more permanent. And then I wasn't sure. I liked it that way, but I thought the bird needed to be a little bit more solid. So I let it sit for a bit to dry out. And then I ultimately ended up going back in with the bright aqua green from Liquitex and the Artist's Loft teal. And what I'm applying it with there is a teeny tiny little piece of cardboard that I ripped off of an old book cover. I wanted to get roughly that size of marks in there of the little tiny cardboard piece, which is, maybe like not even a half an inch there, that I maybe like I don't know, a centimeter possibly, to make those kinds of size of marks inside the bird. I decided I wanted to make it a little more solid, but not completely solid. If I was going to do that, I would have just taken a paintbrush, but you can see I've left some of the background show through. And then I actually end up going in with a shop towel, dabbing some of the paint off further, and then you'll see me here in a moment cup my hand just around the shape of the bird so that when I spray some water on it to remove even more paint, it doesn't land on that gel pen and lift it up like I said would happen. So there I am, just removing some of that paint with the towel and a little bit of water that I sprayed on there. And all in all, that was pretty much the look that I was going for. So I'm going to show you here in a minute what we ended up with at the very end, and you can tell me what you think. All right, here he is, and I'm pretty happy with him. I really love this color scheme. I've used it in some of my other work, and you've probably seen it if you've seen my other videos, but this was a lot of fun. I love using the variety of lines that the different pens and the different mark making tools bring to the piece. It is a way to use a similar color to bring everything together, but yet keep it visually interesting enough to make someone want to look at it and have it stand out as a successful piece. But you can let me know what you think. Thank you so much for joining me. If you liked what you saw, give me a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't. Hit that bell notification if you are interested in being notified when I put out a new video, and that is every Friday morning at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. And don't forget to check out my Etsy shop and my other social media, which there are links for in my description. Thank you all so much for joining me, and I can't wait to see you again next week. Take care.